Whether the information put out by the channel had anything to do with this or not, to my mind, is irrelevant. This is a good decision. I'm sure there were security concerns evidenced by the massive amount of U.S. military personnel that needed to go in advance to bring any high-level member of the administration into that region. Now, I'm not sure if sending Mike Pence in his place is really the best decision. It's not my decision to make, of course, but I think a better one could have been made. Why not send two Spanish speakers from states Trump carried? He carried Florida, he carried Texas. Now just stick with me here for a minute and think about this. There's a perception problem in the region, Central America, Latin America, South America, about the U.S. and its opinion of these people and their heritage. Whether that's correct or not is irrelevant. It is the perception. It was going to be what the countries down there who don't like the U.S. were going to rally around. And they were going to give these long, drawn-out speeches about the evils of white English imperialism and colonialism and all this stuff. We could send two high-ranking U.S. senators from from states that Mr. Trump carried, that supported the current administrator, that are both native Spanish speakers. They could deliver the entire message in their language. There's multiple venues, there's multiple things going on down there. You could have one at each, speaking on behalf of America. Speaking about, especially the guy on the right, I mean, he literally lived the conservative American dream, Marco Rubio. His father came, worked his way up. I believe he was a bartender. Mr. Rubio does not come from money. To be very truthful, I probably should have done the homework on Mr. Cruz. I'm not sure what his background is, but he represents Texas. I mean, and Texas is pretty hardcore Trump country. And if anybody was going to be able to make the case, not for Mr. Trump specifically, but for America as a country, and our willingness to want to work with the good people of Latin America, because there are good people down there. They're not all members of MS-13. The vast majority of South America doesn't believe in Darwin. There was a woman in El Salvador, I believe, that just got done doing 20 years for having an abortion. These are incredibly conservative people. The vast majority of them are. And I think that's what's really missing in a lot of people who have this anti Latin America sentiment, this anti-immigrant sentiment. Some of these people you would want coming here. I think it's one of the big reasons the left has had to reach out to them, is because they realize these people are super conservative by nature. Very, very Christian people. I mean, do your research. Look into this issue, definitely in South America. Like I said, they don't buy a lot of the garbage coming out of the left, and I'm sorry to my viewers that are more liberal, but this is just the case. That's just who they are. But I wanted to talk about now one thing that kind of makes me wonder about this issue. He's saying staying home because he wants to monitor events in Syria. Even with stops, it's only 9 hours, and I'm sure on Air Force One it's much shorter. Lima to DC is not, if he would have to get in, aboard Air Force One and make his way back, it's only a matter of a few hours. And to my mind, if it's my understanding, there's really nothing that can be done in Washington that cannot be done aboard Air Force One as far as military operations go. I mean, that's the whole reason we have it. Now, something else, a little curious. This was from Info Defensa. I've recommended this. I was reading this little blurb, and it was kind of reminding me of our investigation back into the Fitzgerald and the McCain. These mini submarines that the Russians are trying to pawn off and sell to Latin American countries. Kind of some interesting information down here. Ships of 130 to 1,000 tons of displacement. 1,000-ton sub is really not a mini sub, but that's another argument. Small and mini submarines are a unique segment of the naval market. Despite their small size, carry diverse armaments, including torpedoes, mines, and can be armed with cruise missiles. Now, why would El Salvador want to have cruise missiles? They also have this little thing here that's really got me thinking. In addition, the company announced that it's working to equip these types of submarines with air-independent propulsion systems that will allow them to significantly extend their stay in immersion. Now, that got me thinking of another story. About this missing Argentine sub that no one ever found. Now, Argentina is on the other side of South America, directly across, but if there were some plan to hit a U.S. asset while they were in Lima, and I brought this up just to show you something else too while I was thinking about it, this Moquegua region. Driving and traveling down there is not like driving and traveling up here. It's an incredibly slow, tedious process, and just to go, 600 miles, it's 20 hours. I mean, it's average speed of 30 miles an hour. But I saw something out here off the coast of Peru, and I want your guys' opinion on this. Now, here's Lima. Here's where it is. You see that? Sorry. That doesn't look natural to me. I don't know what it is. It's a huge gash. And it's right off the coast of Lima. Now, I don't want to go all Secure Team 10 here and start talking about aliens and issues like that. It's not really my wheelhouse, but it seems like if they were to want to have secured that Argentine sub for nefarious purposes, maybe park it out here and wait for a U.S. asset to arrive in the region and pop off a nuke or something, that would be a little bit above the head of the Shining Path, I will say this. That would be an involvement that would be multinational, and out here off the coast, sorry, trying to do this with an iPad is not fun. Argentina's over here. These are the Falklands out here, and here's Argentina. I'm sorry, there's the Falklands. That submarine disappeared out here is really weird because it's fairly shallow off the coast of Argentina, and it wouldn't have been much for them to maybe secure this thing and then come around the coast here, because it gets really deep right offshore. And it just kind of got me wondering. I know we've covered a couple of different things in today's video, but that doesn't look man-made. Or excuse me, it doesn't look natural. It looks man-made. Or something made. It's too straight a line. Straight lines like this don't really occur in nature. Not at that length. I mean, it could be something natural. It could be just my lack of knowledge of the region, at least as far as the geography of the seafloor. But it's just very strange. This whole thing, how it went down, with saying he was going to go, and then the change of the president down there. The president, this new president, this Cara, immediately, completely rehashing the whole cabinet, replacing the chief of police, replacing the leader of the military, and then all of a sudden we have this issue and our president decides to not go. Just a very odd series of events. It's really making me wonder, but could be nothing. Who knows? It's a good decision. He doesn't go. He stays here. Pence, I'm sure, will, acquit himself well for what he's being asked to do. I just think a better decision going forward to maybe put an olive branch out to the region and to create peace would be to send 2 Spanish speakers. Like I said, from states carried by the current administrator. He carried Florida, he carried Texas, 2 very big states. So, just my opinion. So, anyway, guys, have a great week, and we will talk to you later. Like, share, subscribe.